The Hall of Concordance gleamed with its trademark pristine white light, refracting through synthetic crystal panels that adorned the cavernous chamber. Ambassador Helena Reyes adjusted her ceremonial collar, the stiff fabric scratching against her neck as she prepared to address the Galactic Council for the first time. After 100 years of human membership, Earth still occupied the outermost tier of seats, the place reserved for the newest, least trusted species. "You understand the stakes," her aide whispered, sliding a data crystal into her palm. "This AgriShare proposal represents our best chance at meaningful contribution." Helena nodded, tucking the crystal into her sleeve. The year 2475 marked a century since humanity's admittance to this august body of 840 civilizations. 100 years of being patronized, marginalized, and treated as galactic children. From his observation post high above the chamber floor, Jake Morrison watched the proceedings with practiced detachment. The former Space Navy officer had been reassigned to diplomatic observation, a fancy term for glorified note-taking, after voicing concerns about the Council's trade restrictions on human technology. He scanned the representatives filing into the chamber, cataloging the familiar faces of power. Trade Minister Zakur took his position at the elevated dais, his amphibian form glistening with ceremonial oils. 6 elongated fingers tapped impatiently against the crystalline podium as he called the session to order. Beside him, Senator Moral Zen's scaled wings fluttered in anticipation, the lizard-like politician's multiple arms gesturing to his coalition partners. "Distinguished delegates," Zakur's voice boomed across the chamber. Translator implants, rendering his croaking tones into perfect galactic standard. "We gather today to consider new proposals for interplanetary resource distribution. The human delegation has submitted their AgriShare initiative for consideration." Helena rose, her heart pounding as she approached the central platform. The human proposal had been months in development, a revolutionary agricultural system that could transform barren worlds into food-producing planets within a single stellar cycle. "Esteemed council members," she began, her voice steady despite her nerves. "Earth presents a solution to the famine affecting 18 neutral systems in the Outer Rim. Our hypergrowth agricultural technology can establish sustainable food production with minimal resource investment." Zakur's gill flaps contracted, the amphibian equivalent of a dismissive sneer. "And what would Earth require in exchange for this generous offering?" "Nothing beyond standard technology sharing protocols already established in the Charter," Helena replied. "We seek only to contribute meaningfully to galactic stability." The chamber erupted in murmurs as data projections materialized above the central table, displaying Earth's proposed agricultural systems. Senator Zen's forked tongue flicked rapidly as he leaned toward Zakur, whispering something that made the trade minister's eyes narrow. "The Council appreciates Earth's enthusiasm," Zakur announced after a moment. "However, we have concerns about introducing untested biological systems into delicate ecosystems. There are established protocols for such innovations." Helena maintained her diplomatic smile, though frustration burned within her. These systems have been extensively tested in 17 Earth colonies across varying environmental conditions. We've included all safety documentation in our submission. Senator Zen rose, his multiple arms spreading wide in theatrical concern. "Perhaps our human colleagues misunderstand. The introduction of new agricultural paradigms requires careful economic impact assessment. We must consider how such technology might destabilize existing trade relationships." The true message was clear. Earth's innovation threatened the profitable food monopolies controlled by the elder species. "We recommend the formation of a study committee," Zakur concluded smoothly. "Perhaps in a decade or two, after proper evaluation." "People are starving now," Helena interjected, breaking protocol. The chamber fell silent at her interruption. The Tau Ceti system lost 60% of its population last cycle due to crop failures. We have a solution ready for implementation. Zakur's amphibian features hardened. The Council appreciates Ambassador Rhea's passion, but reminds Earth's delegation that proper procedures must be followed. The proposal is remanded to the Agricultural Subcommittee for evaluation. The gavel fell, ending discussion. Helena returned to her seat, knuckles white as she gripped the armrests to steady her trembling hands. As the session adjourned, Jake Morrison slipped away from his observation post, moving through the labyrinthine corridors of the Concordance complex. His encrypted communicator vibrated against his wrist, displaying a single line. Outer Garden, 20 minutes. The Outer Gardens of the Concordance Hall presented an artificial paradise of perfectly manicured alien flora. Jake found Helena, seated beneath a bioluminescent tree, its glowing fronds casting her face in ghostly blue light. "They won't even consider it," she said without preamble. 100 years of membership, and they still treat us like children bringing crude drawings to adults. Jake glanced around before sitting beside her. "It's worse than you think," he said, voice low. "I've accessed some secure communications. These sessions are theater. The real decisions happen in private meetings among the elder species. They're drafting new regulations specifically targeting human technologies." "On what grounds?" "Officially, biosecurity concerns." Jake handed her a data stick. "Unofficially, your AgriShare program would undermine the resource leverage they hold over 24 dependent systems." Helena studied the garden's perimeter, noting the subtle security measures integrated into the seemingly natural environment. "How deep does this go?" "All the way to citizenship rights," Jake replied grimly. "There's a draft proposal to reclassify humans as a supervised species, essentially revoking our voting privileges in council matters." Helena's eyes widened. "They can't do that. The Charter—" "The Charter has been amended 16 times in the past century, each time consolidating power among the founding species." Jake leaned closer. "Ambassador, they're not just blocking our proposals. They're systematically reducing our influence while extracting our resources and technologies." Helena stared at the data stick in her palm, feeling its weight far beyond its physical presence. "What options do we have?" "Officially, none." Jake's expression darkened. "Unofficially, I think it's time we stopped asking for permission." That night, in her private quarters, Helena established a quantum-encrypted connection to Earth Intelligence Headquarters. Director Karen Adams's holographic form materialized, her stern features softened only slightly by concern. "I've reviewed the intelligence," Karen said without preamble. "The situation is deteriorating faster than we anticipated. The movement to reclassify Earth as a supervised species has gained support from 14 elder races." Helena paced the room. "They rejected AgriShare today, not on merit, but to maintain their food monopolies. Meanwhile, millions starve in the neutral systems." "It was never about merit," Karen replied. "The council structure was designed to give the appearance of democracy, while ensuring the elder species maintain control. After a century of observation, we've concluded that meaningful change from within is impossible." Helena stopped pacing. "You're suggesting we withdraw?" "I'm suggesting we stop playing a rigged game." Karen's hologram flickered as she manipulated unseen controls. "Earth has been preparing contingencies for the past 15 years. We've established research outposts beyond council surveillance, developed technologies they've forbidden, and identified potential allies, among other marginalized species." "Withdrawal would mean isolation," Helena protested. "Loss of trade routes, technology exchange." "Only within council space," Karen corrected. "And who says we'd be alone?" The hologram expanded, displaying a galactic map with dozens of illuminated points. "These are civilizations similarly frustrated with council hegemony: the insectoid Chithari, the aquatic Nereids, the crystalline Calarian. All possess unique technological and cultural strengths, All have been systematically oppressed by Council policies. You want to form a rival alliance. Helena's voice was barely a whisper. We want to create a true interstellar partnership based on equality and shared advancement. Karen's eyes locked with Helena's. But first, we need to sever our ties with the Council before they further restrict our autonomy. How would this even work? Jake Morrison has been quietly identifying key facilities and resources we'd need to secure. Meanwhile, we've been developing technologies the Council explicitly banned. 7th-generation FTL drives with 1.6 times their speed capability. Quantum communication networks that bypass their monitored channels. True universal translation matrices. Helena sank into a chair. This would be unprecedented. So was humanity reaching the stars, Karen replied. So was surviving first contact. We've always thrived when charting our own course. The Council won't simply let us leave. No, Karen agreed, her expression hardening. That's why we need to be ready for resistance, and why we need you to continue playing the diplomatic game while our preparations are completed. Helena closed her eyes, feeling the weight of decision pressing upon her. How long? 3 months. Then we make our move. The following weeks transformed Helena's perspective. Each council session now appeared as the charade it truly was. Elaborate theater, disguising predetermined outcomes. She watched Zakur and Zen manipulate proceedings with new clarity, noting how legitimate concerns from newer species were systematically sidelined. Meanwhile, Jake Morrison worked tirelessly, gathering intelligence on Council operations, while cataloging the location of human and allied assets throughout explored space. His naval training served him well as he evaded increasing security measures. During a routine data collection mission at a research outpost in the Kepler 442 system, Jake found himself cornered by Zakur's security forces, pinned down in a maintenance corridor. He activated his quantum transmitter, sending a desperate message to the nascent Alliance network. Operative compromised at Kepler Station. Security forces closing in. Data packet attached. Priority transmission to Earth intelligence. As armored figures advanced down the corridor, weapons drawn, Jake prepared for capture. Then, inexplicably, the station's lights flickered. Environmental systems cycled down and emergency bulkheads slammed shut, separating him from his pursuers. A maintenance panel beside him slid open, revealing a Chithari operative, its insectoid form barely fitting the crawlspace. "Follow quickly," it chittered, translator, rendering its mandible clicks into standard. "Zakur's forces will override systems within minutes." Jake hesitated only momentarily before diving into the passage. "You're not Council security." The Chithari's compound eyes glinted in the dim emergency lighting. "Council security would have terminated you. I represent those who share your vision of something better." They navigated through maintenance tunnels to a small hangar bay where a nondescript transport vessel waited. As they boarded, Jake noted the ship's unusual configuration. "This isn't Chithari design." "A collaborative effort," the insectoid replied, initiating launch sequences. Calarian propulsion, Nariad life support, human navigation interfaces, Chithari stealth systems. A prototype of what cooperative development might achieve. As the ship slipped away from the station, accelerating beyond pursuit range, Jake watched the pursuing Council vessels fall behind. "They can't match our speed," he realized. 7th-generation FTL, the Chithari confirmed. The Council banned its development, claiming navigational safety concerns. The truth is, they fear technology they cannot control. When Jake returned to Earth 3 days later, he was immediately escorted to a secure facility beneath the North American continental shelf. Karen Adams greeted him personally, leading him through security checkpoints to a command center humming with activity. "Welcome to Project Concordia," she said as massive display screens revealed a network of outposts, ships, and resources spanning hundreds of star systems. the framework for our new alliance. Helena Reyes joined them. Her diplomatic attire replaced by a simple uniform bearing an unfamiliar insignia. A spiral galaxy embraced by diverse, symbolic representations of their allied species. Your escape accelerated our timeline, Helena explained. Zakher's forces are increasing surveillance on all human activities. We've detected movement of Council military assets toward key human colonies. They're preparing to enforce the supervised species classification, Karen added. Once implemented, they'll have legal justification to occupy our worlds and restrict our movements. How close are we to ready? Jake asked. Karen activated a holographic display showing a countdown. 78 days until all critical assets are secured and our allies are positioned. We were hoping for more time. We won't have it, Helena said grimly. I've received notification of an emergency council session in 2 days. The official agenda is vague, but our intelligence suggests they'll be voting on the reclassification measure. Jake studied the strategic displays. Then we need to accelerate the timeline. Impossible, Karen objected. We have colony ships mid-transit, research facilities still being evacuated. We don't need everything, Jake countered. We need enough to establish our position and protect our core worlds. The rest can follow once we've made our stand. Helena's eyes met his. You're suggesting we make our withdrawal announcement at the emergency session? It's our best opportunity. The entire council will be present, all feeds active. We make our declaration, then immediately implement the quantum communication network to coordinate our allies. Karen frowned. It's risky. Our defensive capabilities will never be perfect, Jake finished. But right now, the Council doesn't expect resistance. They believe their dominance is absolute. That's our advantage. After hours of debate, the decision was made. The next 48 hours became a blur of activity as Earth's covert network activated emergency protocols. Colony ships altered course. Research facilities accelerated evacuations, and military assets moved into defensive positions around key human settlements. Most critically, Admiral Jack Peterson deployed the experimental fleet of phase-shifting vessels, ships capable of manipulating their quantum signature to become virtually undetectable to Council sensors. These ships, integrated with Calarian crystal technology, positioned themselves at strategic points throughout Council space, ready to disrupt communication and transportation networks. The emergency council session began with the usual pomp and ceremony. Though Helena noted an unusual number of security personnel lining the chamber walls, Zakher called the session to order with barely concealed satisfaction. Distinguished delegates, he announced, we gather today to address growing concerns regarding stability within our shared domains. Recent intelligence suggests destabilizing activities among certain newer member species. Senator Zen rose, his wings spreading dramatically. The Security Committee has uncovered evidence of unauthorized technological development, military mobilization, and covert operations conducted by Earth and several client states. These actions represent a clear threat to galactic peace. Murmurs rippled through the chamber as Zen activated a display showing surveillance images of human ships and facilities. We therefore propose immediate implementation of Protocol 87 Alpha, the reclassification of Earth and its colonies as supervised territories, placing them under direct council oversight for a minimum period of 500 standard cycles. Helena watched impassively as council members nodded in agreement, some feigning concern, others barely hiding their approval. When Zakher called for discussion, she rose from her seat. The council recognizes Ambassador Reyes of Earth, Zakher announced, unable to completely mask his smugness. Helena approached the central platform slowly, feeling the weight of history upon her shoulders. As she reached the speaker's position, she activated a small device in her palm. Throughout the chamber, translator implants received a new signal, a direct override that would ensure her words reached every delegate in their native language. bypassing the Council's filtered translation system. "Distinguished representatives," she began, her voice steady. "For 100 years, humanity has participated in this Council with good faith and sincere desire for mutual advancement. For 100 years, we have contributed resources, technologies, and ideas. And for 100 years, we have been systematically marginalized, exploited, and deceived." Zakur lurched forward. "Ambassador, this is not the approved topic." "There is no approved topic for truth. Minister Zakur," Helena continued, her amplified voice drowning his objection. "Today, you plan to strip my people of their autonomy under the pretense of security concerns. But the security you protect is not peace. It is power. Your power." The chamber erupted in shocked exclamations as Helena activated the central display, projecting internal Council communications, documenting the systematic suppression of human initiatives and technologies. "Effective immediately, Earth and all human colonies hereby withdraw from the Galactic Council. We revoke our signatories to all Council treaties, agreements, and protocols." Zakur's security forces moved toward the platform, but found themselves suddenly immobilized as their equipment failed, disabled by a targeted electromagnetic pulse from Helena's podium device. "We do not withdraw to isolate ourselves, but to forge a new path forward. As of this moment, Earth announces the formation of the new Conquered Alliance, a truly equal partnership of civilizations dedicated to mutual advancement, shared prosperity, and genuine cooperation." The chamber's displays shifted, showing simultaneous transmissions from Chithari hive worlds, Nereid ocean planets, and Kalarian crystal colonies, all announcing their withdrawal from Council authority and allegiance to the new alliance. "We do not seek conflict," Helena continued as chaos erupted around her. "But we will defend our right to self-determination. Any aggressive action against alliance members will be met with unified response." Zakur finally managed to override the communication systems. "This is treason! Security! Detain the human delegation!" Before guards could reach her, Helena's form flickered, revealing that she had been present only as a quantum-projected hologram. Her actual location remained secure within an Alliance facility. "The day humans withdraw from the Galactic Council is not the day we abandon the stars," her image declared as it began to fade. "It is the day the universe awakens to a new possibility, a future built on equality rather than domination." As her projection disappeared, every communication system throughout Council space momentarily faltered, then flooded with the Alliance declaration, reaching every planet, station, and vessel simultaneously via the quantum network. The age of Council hegemony had ended. Across Council space, carefully positioned Alliance vessels revealed themselves, strategically placed to protect withdrawal routes for member worlds. The Council's military responded with predictable outrage, dispatching fleets to blockade the rebellious systems. Admiral Peterson's flagship, Harmony's Dawn, led the Alliance defense fleet at the critical Proxima C choke point, the primary supply route connecting the inner Council worlds to their resource-rich territories. As Council warships approached, Peterson watched with calculated calm. "They're deploying in standard Corvin formation," his tactical officer reported. 97 vessels, led by Admiral Thakor's flagship. Peterson nodded. "Typical Council tactics. Overwhelming force applied predictably. Activate phase-shifting protocols on all vessels. Deploy Ghost Squadron on my mark." The Alliance fleet, previously visible to Council sensors, seemed to flicker and vanish. Their quantum signatures altered to exist slightly out of phase with normal space-time. The pursuing Council ships slowed in confusion, their targeting systems unable to lock onto the suddenly ghostly enemy. "Ghost Squadron, execute pattern sunburst," Peterson ordered. 10 previously undetected ships materialized in a spherical formation surrounding the Council fleet. Each bore the crystalline insignia of Kalarian design, integrated with human weapons technology. All vessels, Synchronize phase shift and prepare to fire ion disruptors on my command. Peterson watched as his fleet aligned their quantum signatures just enough to interact with physical weapons. Fire. Brilliant, blue-white energy lanced from the Alliance vessels, striking Council ships with pinpoint precision. Rather than causing physical damage, the specialized weapons disrupted the ship's sensor and communication systems, effectively blinding the fleet. In the ensuing chaos, Admiral Thakur's frantic commands went unheeded as ship captains lost coordination. Some vessels fired blindly into empty space, while others collided with their own allies in the confusion. Second wave, deploy plasma web, Peterson ordered. The Alliance ships fired again, this time creating an interlocking network of plasma energy that surrounded the Council fleet, effectively caging them without causing casualties. Open communication channel to Admiral Thakur's vessel, Peterson commanded. The view screen flickered to life, showing the reptilian admiral's scaled face contorted with rage. This is Admiral Peterson of the Alliance vessel Harmony's Dawn. Your fleet is immobilized but unharmed. We have no desire for bloodshed. Stand down your weapons, and you will be allowed safe passage back to Council space. This is illegal aggression against Council authority, Thakur hissed. We do not recognize your so-called alliance. Recognition is unnecessary. Admiral, reality exists whether you acknowledge it or not. Peterson's tone remained even. We've demonstrated our technological superiority without taking a single life. Consider carefully whether you wish to escalate this encounter. Before Thakur could respond, communications from multiple Council vessels interrupted, captains reporting their intention to stand down. Some went further, requesting asylum and incorporation into Alliance forces. Within hours, 19 of the 47 Council vessels had surrendered or defected. The remainder were permitted to retreat, carrying news of their defeat back to Council space. The immediate aftermath of what became known as the Concordance Declaration transformed the galactic political landscape. 27 former Council members formally joined the Alliance within the first month. Dozens more neutral systems, previously intimidated by Council power, established diplomatic relations. The Council's initial response was to declare economic sanctions against Alliance worlds, a strategy that backfired when it became clear that many essential resources originated from the newly independent territories. Trade routes were redrawn, economic relationships restructured, and a new balance of power emerged with remarkable speed. On a previously unremarkable mining world at the intersection of former human, Chithari, Nereid, and Kalarian territories, a new capital took shape. Concordia Prime, once a dusty extraction colony, was transformed through collaborative terraforming into a vibrant world where representatives of all Alliance species could comfortably coexist. 6 months after the declaration, Helena Reyes stood on the observation deck of the newly completed Unity Spire, the Alliance's central governmental complex. Below, representatives from 83 worlds mingled in the grand atrium, their diverse biological forms creating a tapestry of life unprecedented in organized galactic politics. Jake Morrison joined her, now wearing the formal uniform of Alliance Security Director. Quite a different view from the Council chambers, he observed. In more ways than one, Helena agreed. The Council built their chambers to emphasize hierarchy, elevated platforms, tiered seating, acoustic designs that amplified elder voices while subduing others. Here, we've created spaces that accommodate all biological forms equally. Zakur has been officially removed as Trade Minister, Jake informed her. The Council is restructuring, allegedly to address concerns of representational imbalance. Helena smiled faintly. Attempting to prevent more defections by appearing more inclusive? Too little, too late. They've also rescinded the supervised territory classification proposal. Of course they have. It's meaningless now. Helena turned as Karen Adams approached, accompanied by a Kalarian representative whose crystalline form refracted light in prismatic patterns. Ambassador Reyes. The Kalarian's thoughts translated directly into comprehensible language through the new Universal Polyglot Encoder. The final components of Project Beacon have been integrated. The quantum communication network now extends to all 214 Alliance systems. "Thank you, Resonant of Distant Light," Helena replied. "Your people's contribution to the network has been invaluable. It is beneficial to all," the crystalline being responded. "For too long, the Council restricted communication technology to maintain control of information flow. Now, all Alliance worlds share knowledge simultaneously, without filtration or delay." Karen gestured toward another section of the complex where Nereid and human scientists collaborated over holographic displays. "The agricultural integration program has exceeded projections. The combination of human growth acceleration techniques with Nereid water purification systems has allowed us to establish sustainable food production on 17 previously barren worlds. The very technology the Council rejected," Helena noted. "Now, feeding millions who would otherwise be starving under their embargo." A soft alert chimed, and Jake checked his communication device. "The Council has requested formal diplomatic relations with the Alliance. They're proposing an ambassador exchange." Helena's expression remained neutral. "They've realized we won't simply disappear. Process the request through standard diplomatic channels. We'll treat them as we would any other independent political entity." As the others departed to attend to their responsibilities, Helena remained at the observation window, watching the diverse gathering below. The past 6 months had brought challenges she could never have anticipated. Military confrontations, refugee crises as populations fled Council reprisals, the massive logistical undertaking of establishing new infrastructure independent from Council systems. Yet for every challenge, the Alliance had found strength in its diversity. Chithari hive mind processing had revolutionized data management. Kalarian crystal technology had transformed energy production and communication. Nereid environmental adaptation had solved habitability issues on dozens of worlds. And human innovation continued to connect these disparate technologies in unexpected ways. Admiral Peterson joined her, his uniform bearing the battle decorations from the Proxima engagement. "The defensive perimeter is fully operational," he reported. 53 phase-shifting vessels positioned at strategic points throughout Alliance space. "The Council's military advantage in numbers is effectively neutralized by our technological edge." "And the Andromeda Initiative?" Helena asked. Peterson smiled. "The Pioneer of Unity completes final testing next week. First long-range exploration vessel to incorporate all Alliance technologies. She'll reach the Andromeda outer systems in approximately 7 years. Half the time a Council vessel would require." Helena nodded with satisfaction. "We didn't withdraw from the galactic community to isolate ourselves. We withdrew to explore and connect on our own terms. The Crew Selection Committee has recommended Captain Maya Krishnamurthy as mission commander." Peterson added, "Former Council Exploration Corps, defected during the withdrawal. She's compiled an integrated crew from all Alliance species." "Approve the recommendation," Helena said. "This mission should represent everything the Alliance stands for." As evening fell on Concordia Prime, Helena prepared to address the first formal convocation of the Alliance High Council. Representatives from all member worlds gathered in the Grand Chamber, a circular space where no position held physical prominence over others, a deliberate contrast to the hierarchical council design. Jake escorted her to the speaker's platform. "Nervous?" he asked. "Determined," she corrected. "We've proven we can resist oppression. Now, we need to prove we can build something better in its place." The chamber quieted as Helena took her position. Hovering translation drones ensured her words would reach each representative in their native language, while the quantum network broadcast the proceedings throughout Alliance space. "Distinguished representatives, honored allies, citizens of the Alliance," she began. 6 months ago, we took an unprecedented step into uncertainty. We withdrew from a system that had failed to recognize our worth and denied our potential. We declared that the future of our civilizations would be determined by our own choices, not by the dictates of entrenched power. She gestured to the diverse gathering before her. Look at what we have accomplished in that brief time. Worlds that once competed now collaborate. Species that were strangers now share knowledge freely. Technologies that were forbidden now flourish. Displays activated around the chamber, showing images from across Alliance territory. New colonies taking root on once barren worlds. Integrated research facilities producing innovations at unprecedented rates. Defense fleets composed of diverse vessel designs, protecting shared interests. The Council believed that control was necessary for stability. They were wrong. True stability comes from mutual respect and shared purpose. True progress emerges from the free exchange of ideas. Helena paused, looking at the representatives individually. The insectoid Chithari, with their compound eyes reflecting light in faceted patterns. The aquatic Nereids in their specialized environmental suits. The crystalline Calarians whose forms hummed with internal energy. And her fellow humans, whose adaptability had helped forge this unprecedented alliance. The day humans withdrew from the Galactic Council was not the day we abandoned our place in the cosmos. It was the day the universe awakened to a new possibility, that diversity is strength, that cooperation surpasses domination, that the future belongs to those with the courage to imagine it differently. She extended her hands in the universal gesture of openness. Tomorrow, the pioneer of unity departs for Andromeda, carrying representatives of all our peoples to forge new connections beyond known space. This is the true purpose of the Alliance, not merely to exist in opposition to the Council, but to explore and connect in ways they never imagined possible. As applause filled the chamber, Helena felt a profound sense of rightness. The path ahead would not be easy. The Council remained powerful. Internal tensions within the Alliance required constant attention, and the challenges of integrating diverse biological and cultural needs demanded creative solutions. Yet in the 6 months since the withdrawal, she had witnessed more genuine progress than in the previous century of Council membership. Freed from artificial constraints, each member civilization contributed their unique strengths to a truly collaborative community. Later that evening, Helena stood on the launching platform as final preparations were completed for the pioneer of Unity's maiden voyage. The massive vessel incorporated design elements from all Alliance species: human adaptability, Chithari efficiency, Nereid environmental systems, and Calarian energy technology. Captain Krishnamurthy approached, her dark eyes bright with excitement. "We're ready, Ambassador. All systems operational, crew aboard, course plotted for the Andromeda approach." "This is more than an exploration mission, Captain," Helena said quietly. "It's a declaration of what the Alliance represents, looking outward together, seeking connection rather than conquest." "We won't disappoint you," Krishnamurthy promised. Each crew member understands the significance of this journey. As the captain returned to her vessel, Jake joined Helena at the observation rail. "I never imagined we'd come this far when I slipped you that first intelligence report," he admitted. "None of us did," Helena replied. "We were simply trying to prevent the Council from further restricting human autonomy. We couldn't have anticipated this." She gestured to the bustling spaceport around them, where beings from dozens of worlds worked together in seamless cooperation. "Do you think the Council will ever truly accept our independence?" Jake asked. "Eventually. Reality is persistent." Helena smiled faintly. "They've already begun adopting some of our innovations, the ones they previously banned as potentially destabilizing." "Imitation is the sincerest form of flattery, or the most pragmatic form of survival." Helena watched as the Pioneer's engines began their preliminary ignition sequence, bathing the launch platform in soft blue light. Either way, the universe has changed irrevocably. The monopoly on power has been broken. The massive ship rose silently, its advanced propulsion systems leaving no visible exhaust. As it ascended into the evening sky, citizens of all Alliance species gathered to witness the historic departure. The vessel paused at low orbit, its running lights forming a pattern recognizable to all watching, the spiral insignia of the Alliance, a galaxy embraced by diversity. Then, in a flash of controlled energy, the pioneer of Unity engaged its 7th-generation FTL drive and vanished into the depths of space, carrying the hopes and dreams of a new galactic order toward distant horizons. On the observation platform, Helena Reyes turned to face the assembled Alliance leadership. "This is just the beginning," she said, her voice carrying the quiet certainty of profound truth. The day humans withdrew from the Galactic Council was the day the universe awakened to its true potential. As stars emerged in the darkening sky above Concordia Prime, they seemed to shine with new possibility, not merely distant suns, but beacons of a future where diversity meant strength, cooperation replaced domination, and no single power dictated the destiny of all. A future that began with the courage to withdraw from a broken system and the vision to create something better in its place.